the problem with stepping away from the world is that when you come back, when you want to reintegrate in the world, you have a bit of a bump, a challenge, because look, I'm here in front of the camera, and uh, it's a challenge for me to record this video. It's like, come on, don't you know how to speak in work? Come on, come on. There's this line in the Tao Te Ching that says, in the pursuit of knowledge, every day something is added. In the practice of the Tao, more and more, every day something is dropped. Less and less do you need to force things until you arrive at non-doing. When nothing is done, nothing is left undone. And you know, in this world where we're so busy, being busy and constantly doing things, I feel like it's a lot of people will perceive this, as laziness. Like, oh, you're so lazy, you have to hustle, you have to make things happen. But if you look in nature, right, there are seasons. There's a time for everything. There's a time for being ahead, and the Tao Te Ching says, and a time for being behind, a time for being vigorous, and a time for being at rest. And all this, like, constantly doing and doing and doing, that's unhealthy, that's not organic. And a lot of it stems from this exhausting need and addiction to seek approval, to control things, to be validated, to be approved by the world, and not to be left behind. But behind, a lot of times, I think it's good. Listen, it's good to be left behind, because if you look where the world is going, like, really is, it's so unhealthy. And it's important to pause and to ask yourself, hey, where am I going? Are my action my own, or is it a program, or many that are, pushing me and dragging me through life, and I'm not the one in charge, I'm not the one in control. Because a lot of people, you will ask them, hey, are you conscious? They will tell you, yes, they are. But this idea of free will, I don't know what it is, because we're, as Joe Dispenza says, is that by the time we're 35, right, we're just a set of memorized behavior. That's it, that's what we are. So you're programmed from an early age. You're programmed by your environment, by the school, by your parents, by your family, by everybody around you, right? And you reach a certain age where it's like you're just, right, it's just the program that are guiding you and leading you and dragging you through life. And you think, oh yes, I'm making a choice, but you're not the one making the choice. It's the programs who, like, tell you what to do. So you lost power over your own self. And that's why, like, coming back to the words of Lao Tzu, like, something more in the practice of the Tao, every day something is dropped. You have to reach to a point where you look at your life and you have to ask yourself, hey, who am I? Are my thoughts my own? Are these feelings in alignment with the person I want to be? Is my life my own? Are the people I surround myself with a reflection of my value and my worth? How do I feel, like, with my work, with my environment, everything, right? And I think if you're brave enough, right, and I know a lot of you are, I hope all of you, right, you begin to draw a line and say, like, no, I can't live like this anymore. And that's where everything it begins, right? That's where it starts. It's not like, okay, that's it, I'm changing, and things after that are smooth. No, there's going to be challenge after challenge after challenge. But I think it's so important for you to have a clear idea of who you want to become, and the person and the place where you want to reach, right, and how you want your life to unfold. Because if you have that, right, it becomes less and less it becomes harder, for the world, more of a challenge for the world to pull you in all this direction. Because if you look around you, you'll see that yeah, right, people, they're just doing things, they're just doing because everybody's doing. Somebody's, like, setting a trend, pushing a button, and they're all following, and they think, oh, that's trendy, that's actually, I'm hip, I'm cool. But you're not. It just proves that you're asleep, and you have absolutely no control over your own body, over your own choices, over your own life. And that's actually dangerous, right? And that's why it's so important to step back. And that's why I feel like I'm constantly asked, okay, step back, because I'm being pulled. Like, as much as I know, like, I know so much, I feel like even at that I have to drop it, because a lot of time it gets in the way, right? And you're being pulled, and with all this technology, social media, and all that, and you're and then you lose yourself. I was like, okay, let's rebalanced, let's recalibrate. And you have to do that and not see it, not perceive it as a failure, and put yourself first. Because you, once you have this idea, it's like, okay, you look at your life, you look at yourself. Am I in alignment? No, I'm not. Okay, don't abuse yourself, don't brutalize yourself, don't criticize, blames, and complain, and all these things. No, just withdraw and make the necessary changes, readjust, and then come back, right? Reintegrate into the world, and then come with a new energy. And you know, in the Old Testament, one of the, it's, for me, it's one of the most beautiful stories, because it talks about like this, right? There's the story of Moses and the Israelites, right? And he takes them out of Egypt through the wilderness, right? Through the desert of Egypt. And they tell him, like, they start lamenting and whining and complaining. It's like, is it because there were not enough grace in Egypt that you brought us here into the wilderness to die? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptian than to be here and die, right? And I feel that's so powerful, because, right, the Egyptian, the way I see it, it's everything that keeps us enslaved into this world, right? It's like technology, jobs that we hate, people that, like, relationship, everything, addiction, all kinds of addiction, to suffering, to fear, to, like, all these things, right? These are the things that enslave us. And when the calling comes, right, when a higher, right, will, you know, speaks to us, a higher voice, a higher self, right, higher thoughts, and they say, okay, this is the way, walk in it, right? And something inside you say, I have to do it, right? Even though it makes no sense to my senses, to my mind, to my relative, to anybody and to anything, right? I'm just gonna follow it, right? And as you start, right, things will get like more challenging, and the wilderness more intense, and the darkness more dark, right? And your senses and the whole world tell, what are you doing? You're crazy. Come back, right? Go back and serve the Egyptians. Go back and live the life as you used to. Go and be asleep like all of us, right? But you have to be brave enough. You have to be courageous, and no, just not do it. Because, I mean, you know what's there. You've been there. No one, you left because you know why. It wasn't in alignment. It no longer brought you fulfillment. You woke up, you open your eyes, and like, no, this is it, this is the end. And you have to have faith. You have to, right, walk by faith, not by sight. You have to have faith that eventually you will reach your destination. You will reach this, like the land of Canaan. You will reach a higher ground, a higher self, a place where you will become free from all those things that kept you enslaved into this world. Because, as I say, like, God is not a liar. And what is God? God is the truth of who you are, right? The name that can be named is not the eternal name, right? It's although we use names to say God and this and that, Allah, Buddha, right? It's not that, right? And if you get bugged by this idea, oh, I don't like the word, and you just get triggered, it's like you have to also drop that, like, drop all your concepts and ideas and all the beliefs and programs and that you have about God, about divinity, and allow yourself, strip yourself naked, and allow yourself to be taught and to be guided, and to reach a place where all the things that you thought were true are no longer true for you. And you know them because you saw them and you experienced them. And you have to, like, keep going and believe that you are not alone, and that this God and this invisible intelligence is always with you, right? Because imagine if God is everything and God is one, it is one with you, and it's one with your life, and one with your path, and the path that you are walking, and the feelings that you are feeling, and the pain and the struggle and the doubt. God experiences that, right? And his attention, her attention is always on you. And the reason why a lot of times we feel alone, abandoned, is because our attention is not upon our divinity. It's not. It's just on materiality of things, on the things that we struggle with, on our fears and doubts, and right. And in the Bhagavad Gita, there's this verse that says, "In this sad, vanishing world, turn your attention on me. Concentrate your mind on me. Worship me, love me, serve me, and you will attain me at last." And this doesn't mean that you have to, like, bow in front of, like, you make a god, like the Egyptian, they made what, they make a cow, what they made something, right, external, because again, that's a trap, and you have to release that. But it's like you finding out where the God is, which is within you, right? Be still and know that I'm God. Is the awareness of the truth of who you are, right? Always where you are, who you are, right? And just place your attention more and more on that, and allow yourself to be taught and to experience, to know from your own experience, and by walking this path, who God is and where God is. And when that happens, it's like there will be no more fear, and this world will have no no more power over you, because just like Lester and many other great avatars and teacher, you'll be released and free, and you will use the world, right, to polish yourself and to look in the mirror and say, okay, if I'm seeing that, that isn't me, so how can I drop it? How can I drop? Until you become that, like, one with God, and you will hold on to nothing and no one as your own, because you are everything. So why should you hold on to anything if the world is yours and all in it, right? So yeah, test it and see.